Okay, so I wanted to just give another update on the last trip that I took. It was a 600 microgram LSD trip. I ate the LSD Friday morning at 8:30. And the additional things that I wanted to say about it was that I didn't try to go to sleep for about 22 hours after I ate it. I found that on 500 micrograms, I can't go to sleep for at least 18 and a half hours, but now I've gotten into the habit of waiting longer. My last two trips have been 600 micrograms, and both times I really didn't go to sleep for 24 hours after I ate the LSD. This time I think I went to bed about 22 hours after I ate it, and probably laid in bed for about 2 hours before I fell asleep. Then in the next 24-hour period, I slept quite well. I think I slept 3 times. I was going to think more about it. I don't keep records. I should keep records and stuff like this, but I did sleep quite well. So I just thought I'd mention that. You really can wreak havoc with your sleep schedule. But if you have time to catch up and everything on your sleep, it's not that bad. It doesn't seem to be that bad. I have been sleeping very well lately. So the next thing was I was thinking about blacking out the way I blacked out. I just wanted people to know that I've taken 500 micrograms in public. And one interesting thing about LSD is that I've heard it said, and I found this to be true myself, is that you can be tripping and not even really be aware of that. And I've noticed that can happen when I'm in public. I was at one party, and then I went somewhere. It was like a gymnasium. I was just by myself in this gymnasium, and I just felt I was tripping so much harder when I was alone. So as far as like blacking out in public, I don't think it's a possibility. Not for me. I think it's just because I'm in that sort of sensory deprived setting that it's happened to me twice. I think it has sort of happened other times too, to a lesser extent. I think if there was any kind of stimulation at all, probably it wouldn't happen. It doesn't seem like it would. And the strange thing is I am listening to fairly loud music when I'm blacking out, which is kind of surprising. But I didn't even really know that was a possibility with LSD. It strikes me as something maybe I heard about when I was like a little kid or something. But then when I got older, I maybe started thinking it was a myth or something. I'm not really sure. I think I may have vaguely heard something that was a possibility. Now, one thing I was going to say about LSD was you often hear about set and setting. So I thought I'd talk about that. I talked about dosage before because I think dosage is very important. I think in some ways it's more important than set and setting because the set and setting can be fine, but if you take too much LSD, it could be a problem. But I have talked about the dosage quite a bit, so I think the proper dosage is 100 micrograms for an introductory level trip. Now, LSD, the type of LSD I've taken has been all in blotter form. And blotter is basically a piece of paper, and you can buy it in, I usually buy it a sheet at a time. And so this is basically what a sheet looks like. It's 2.5 inches square. which is 6.35 centimeters square. I measured some, and the thickness was in the range of 0.018 inches thick to 0.02 inches thick. It's basically a half a millimeter thick. This is what I have here is 5 sheets of computer paper that I put together with a glue stick. This isn't actually blotter, but it could be. This is 2.5 inches square. Now, I bought some of this 18 months ago for $400 a sheet. So this was $400 18 months ago. 6 months ago, $480 a sheet. And it's often a little bit undersized. It's supposed to be 100 hits, 10 by 10. The size of one hit is a 1/4 inch square, which is 0.635 centimeters square. This is about what it would look like. What I did was I cut that out of a piece of poster board. It is a little bit thicker than blotter, but poster board is fairly close to what blotter is. It's a little thicker than it. This is the actual thickness. There's something called a 10 strip, which is 10 hits right in a row here, because there are 10 hits this way and there's 10 hits this way, so there's 100 hits. A 10 strip is 1/10 of this. I would say it's probably going for $100. It seems to generally be twice as expensive to buy it that way per hit. Sheet is probably half as expensive, something like that. So, how do I know how much I'm getting? I would say the benchmark for knowing how hard you're tripping on LSD is to stare at yourself in the mirror. Let's say 3 hours after you ate it. For me to know how much I'm getting, there's certain assumptions that I have to make. I mean, first of all, the general method to know how strong this stuff is to ask the person that you get it from. You just have to ask the person and see what they say. Now, for me, it's always come back 100 micrograms per hit. So, now, it is my understanding that the range, the dosage range is like 100 micrograms to like maybe 500, 600 micrograms. I've read that. I think that's what it says on Wikipedia currently. I think it says 100 to 500. So that's some information that I'm using. I have to use that information to figure out how much I'm taking. Now I know that I've been told it's 100 micrograms per hit, so I'm just basically verifying that. And the way I verify it is I take 100 micrograms, which I have done recently. Not because I really wanted to, but just because I was going to be talking about it. And I did find that I have a tolerance for it and everything like that, so I couldn't really make a good appraisal. But in staring at myself in the mirror on 100 micrograms, I think what you can expect is after about a second or so, you should be able to stare at yourself for about a second without anything happening. But then after about a second, it seems for me on lower dosages, what usually happens is one of my eyes starts to enlarge. And then gradually my face starts to morph and different stuff starts to happen. Then when I'm taking, let's say, 500 micrograms and I stare at myself in the mirror, I can't really look at myself in the mirror for any length of time at all, not even a second, without something happening. And what usually happens is there's a sort of double imaging, but I don't think it's due to my eyes being crossed. I think it's just something that's happening in my brain. So my face just almost immediately just goes like that into this double imaging arrangement.